Welcome to the podcast about venture capital, where investors and founders alike can learn how VCs make decisions and reach conviction. Your host is Nick Moran, and this is The Full Ratchet.
Welcome back for another edition of Investor Stories. On this special segment, the experts describe the most important lesson that they've learned and how that has changed the way they invest. This is the special segment called Lessons Learned.
On today's special segment, we have Julie Wroblewski. Julie, can you tell us a story highlighting a critical lesson that has changed the way you invest?
I'm currently managing several investments alongside incredibly aligned and supportive investor syndicates. And I think that, in the early days of investing, I maybe thought a lot about, the specific investment itself and didn't prioritize enough the value and importance of having an aligned and trusted investor syndicate around the table. And I'm seeing that in several cases where we have companies where it just makes everything a lot easier and adds a lot of value when you have trusted co-investors around the table. So that's something I'm thinking about a lot more as we build new investor syndicates.
Awesome.
On today's special segment, we have Mike Evans, co-founder of Grubhub and co-founder of Fixer. Mike, can you tell us a story highlighting a critical lesson that has changed your approach to leadership?
I would say a critical lesson that's evolved my approach to leadership for the last 20 years has been, however much you think people matter, they matter even more than you thought they did. It astonishes me that I'm still learning this because I feel like I've learned it 15 times already, right? One thing that a lot of startup people will say is, hire slow, fire fast. If you can fire fast, you're not a good leader. You should be creating such a connection with the people that you work with that firing is outrageously painful, and you should take a lot of steps before you just do it. If you're good at firing people, you can't be a good leader. And so you need to be willing to invest in people and to give them chances and lots of chances and try and get to the point where they're really thriving. And so, I feel like I've just learned that again and again. That pairs with, early at Grubhub, I wasn't thinking a lot about diversity and inclusion. We started thinking about it about halfway through the business and really thinking about how do we get more women on the leadership team? How do we get more women involved in the board? And that's been a big issue at Fixer too. Just we have room to do better. And so we've had to spend a lot of time thinking about our hiring platforms, how we talk about our jobs, how we get representation at every stage of the interview process, how we don't just rely on our networks for hiring because our networks tend to be homogeneous and we want heterogeneous hiring sources. And so, that's the thing that's just, it's been again and again and again, investing in people, giving them the credit, giving them the responsibility and the authority to do the things they need to do.
On today's special segment, we have Sunil Nagaraj of Ubiquity Ventures. Sunil, can you tell a story highlighting a critical lesson that has changed the way you invest?
The very first portfolio company that failed early in my venture career when I was at Bessemer taught me a very important lesson. This particular company was a developer tool, which was in my sweet spot. I felt like it fit with how I thought developer tools were evolving. And they had a working demo, which looked great. They had a wait list of demand, 1,000 people on a Google form that said they wanted to use a product. They had technical chops. So all of this was very exciting to me at the time. And I invested, joined the board, and over time, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, the team slowly fell apart. And this was, when I was telling you why I found the company exciting, I didn't say anything about the team, especially the team chemistry. So that was something I discounted. I didn't know to look for. I knew I wanted to back smart people, but I didn't think about the soft skills and the way they interacted with one another. And that, empirically, what happened was one co-founder left, another co-founder left. Slowly was a major cause of the company's demise was the team dynamic. There's a professor, Noam Wasserman, who's done research on this, and he'll say that that's one of the biggest, if not the biggest cause, is founder fights early on for why early stage companies fall apart. So now the lesson for me is that I monitor, observe very closely the micro movements, the small dynamics in founder pitches. So I'll give you an example. If two founders are pitching me, even over Zoom, and one of them starts talking and the other says, oh, no, it's actually like this, right? That is a big deal to me. It didn't used to be a big deal, but just seeing micro fights or a lack of alignment or someone jumping in front of somebody or they're not being on the same page, if they can't hold it together for the 30 minutes we're spending together, they won't be able to hold it together for the next 10 years. So founder chemistry, co-founder chemistry is a critical piece that I was ignoring and now I never ignore.
That will conclude this installment of Investor Stories. If you're enjoying the program and would like to see it continue, take a moment and leave a 5-star review in iTunes. Also, if you'd like updates on new content from TFR, as well as the top 10 VC articles every week, go to fullratchet.net and sign up for the newsletter. Okay, that will wrap things up for today. Until next time, over-prepare, choose carefully, and invest confidently. Thanks for joining me.